Boxing truth here. Vasyl Lomachenko's recent run over the past 5 fights is reminding me of another great run which occurred about almost a decade ago. And it's very reminiscent in some ways of Manny Pacquiao's great run in the series of fights that he had from around 2008 to about 2009, where he was fighting much bigger fighters, having these lights out performances, was knocking guys out cold, bigger fighters, lineal champions, future Hall of Famers, submitting guys, destroying them, all the way until the Margarito fight. That was Manny's great run, where people were very confident that he would destroy Floyd Mayweather had they fought in 2010. Lomachenko was having that type of run in his series of fights over the past year and some change. Ever since he knocked out Rocky Martinez, he has improved as a fighter. He is stronger. He is more confident. He's just much better when you look at the footage from his first 3 professional fights from the Salido guy Russell, and you compare his performances until now. He's definitely lighting up the boxing world with these performances, making world-class fighters quit, not even giving the opponents any chance in hell of even trying to compete with him. And he's doing it in his own way. Manny uses physicality, explosive style, punching power to knock out much bigger men. And that type of feat was really impressive to the boxing fans in that time. And Manny was the special fighter of the past generation. He was the super fighter of his generation. Perhaps Lomachenko is the next Manny Pacquiao. Perhaps he is the super fighter of this generation. And I said in past videos, Lomachenko, Bob Arum has also mentioned in the past that this kid's probably the next Manny Pacquiao in terms of jumping weight classes, beating bigger guys, putting on special performances against guys that some boxing fans would count him out in. Before Pacquiao's fights against Cotto, against Oscar De La Hoya, there was plenty of boxing fans that felt that those guys were too big, too strong, and look what he did to those guys. Beat the crap out of both of them, knocked them both out, made one of them quit on his stool. So what Manny did was special the previous decade, and now what Lomachenko is doing is pretty damn impressive. Boxing history is repeating itself, and Bob Arum, before your eyes, is creating another star. He's really pumped about Lomachenko. He is convinced that he is the best fighter of this era, of the past 25 years. And according to Bob, he's the best fighter that he's ever seen. That he's never seen anything like this in terms of the performances. I've seen some great runs in the past. Manny Pacquiao's run is comparable. Ali's run from 64 to 67 is also comparable. Mike Tyson's run, becoming undisputed heavyweight champion in the mid-1980s, is also comparable of these type of great runs where the performances, the way they trashed their opponents really caught the imagination of the boxing fans. And now Lomachenko is catching the imagination of the boxing fans. People are starting to wonder who the fuck can beat this guy. I mean, I'm having trouble myself picking a guy within his weight class. I'm actually having trouble when it comes all the way up to the welterweight division. Lomachenko right now is showing potential, the ability to perhaps even humiliate and embarrass welterweights. You can't just hand him the pound for pound throne just yet. You can't just say, I mean, it's your opinion. You can say he's pound for pound number one. I really don't got a problem with it. But to me, I go by resumes. I go by quality of opposition. I go by performances as well. And there's still some things that he still needs to show the boxing world. I would like to see him beat a top lightweight. I'd like to see him fight George Linares. I'd like to see him fight Mikey Garcia. Of course, I would favor him over both of those guys, but being favored doesn't mean that you beat them, doesn't mean that you would defeat them. He still needs to go and get the job done. But I suspect that Lomachenko very well just could embarrass and make a joke of Mikey Garcia and George Linares. And if he does, the potential is truly there. It's truly real that he can perhaps even move up to welterweight and embarrass welterweight champions. You really have to think long and hard on who the hell can beat this kid. There's no super lightweight I would pick to beat Lomachenko among the top fighters. There's no lightweight I would pick to beat Lomachenko. There's no super featherweight. I would like to see the Gervonta Davis fight, but it's not going to happen. And we all know why, because Floyd got to protect that boy, Gervonta Davis. I would like to see that fight, but it's just not going to happen, at least for the time being. But Lomachenko, he could possibly, eventually, do what Manny Pacquiao did, and perhaps be called out by a superstar fighter 2 weight divisions above him. And if you're Lomachenko's team, why not just go after that? Dare to be great. He wants to be known as a legend in the sport, and what better way to do it by pretty much just doing what the masses want him to do. The Lomachenko haters, the people that are very upset, still butthurt that he embarrassed their boy in Rigondeaux. People are calling for him to fight Terrence Crawford. They're calling for him to fight Manny Pacquiao at a catchweight. Shit. Perhaps Lomachenko could beat an old Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is still out there. He's obviously gonna possibly come back for another fight. He just can't stay away from the money. And I hope Floyd is actually stupid enough to challenge Lomachenko, and what would be a very interesting, significant fight. But let me tell you something. Lomachenko could beat an old-ass Floyd Mayweather. I hope Floyd is stupid enough to make that fight. But seeing is believing when it comes to that. But you never know. Maybe Floyd will be cocky enough and dumb enough to think that he could fight this young phenom who's only getting better with every fight. With the type of run that he's had, only 11 fights. He's had one of the most impressive runs when it comes to overall body of work. I still don't have him as my number one pound for pound. I still have Canelo, Golovkin, Kovalev ahead of him. But with the potential that he's showing, he's well on his way to fulfilling his goal. And that is becoming a pound for pound king, becoming a legend in the sport, and a name that will be remembered for many years after he completes his journey in boxing. But Lomachenko is definitely an heir to the throne. I predict him and Canelo are going to be competing for that pound for pound spot for the next 5 years. Kovalev is a king as well, but he's 34 years old. He's in the twilight of his career. He's only got about 4 good years left, and then the next generation is going to kick in. The future could be very well be Canelo Alvarez and Lomachenko as the 2 super fighters of this era, as the guys that are going to carry the torch for the next generation. Let's see what Lomachenko does next. There's plenty of options for him. He could fight another defense at 30. He could pursue a unification with Burchelt if they're up to the task. It's going to take a ballsy 130-pounder to step up to the plate, though. Mikey Garcia, there's a network issue. There's a money issue for that fight to take place. They're not really in a rush to fight Lomachenko. Linares would definitely take the fight if the business makes sense. I'm very intrigued with Lomachenko's career in the future, though. I hope he does what Manny Pacquiao did. Jump up multiple weight divisions, challenge welterweights, and then the careers of a legend. Maybe Lomachenko will get his chance. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.